make sure you go and vote. And there's an election every 4 years, and it's timed differently between 3 levels of government, which is municipal, provincial, or federal. But the reason I say this is because when you obligate yourself as your civic duty to go and vote, and we're talking about the country of Canada in this case, or other countries where you can vote and there's democracy, you then will immediately ask questions from friends, family, or people you think know about, what's happening in the economy, what is happening in society, what are the policies, what do they mean, or you'll immediately start reading about it because if you're going to go vote, you want to know who you're voting for, what they're talking about, to even understand it. And what that does is not only does it educate you about what's happening in your country, your community, what are these ideas, how does it affect you, all of a sudden you realize your problems aren't that big of a deal when you start looking at it on a community level or a national level about what's happening. What are the unemployment rate? What is inflation percentage? What is all of these different things will really give you a bigger picture, and then you realize the things you complain about could be first world problems. Seriously, because then you realize you're like, oh, when you start looking at your country in a way where you're like, this is where my country's at, this is what these parties are talking about, and then you start looking around the world, these are the things that are priceless because they'll educate you, and you'll have a better understanding of where you are, and then also perhaps it'll give you an idea or inspire you of how you can contribute in society. It really gives you a lot of perspective. Then you don't complain about silly things or think things in your life are, so devastating when you start looking at other people's lives, because this is what politics is all about. It's a marketplace of ideas to solve problems in society, or forward thinking and being progressive in terms of where to go next in society. And it'll just give you a better understanding if you make a commitment that you're going to vote, because you're only going to read about it when it's time to vote.
Wow, that's a very interesting one. Actually, I never thought about that one. But since you mentioned that when you said go out and vote, I thought, wow, that sounds interesting. But the perspective that you shared, it is amazing. Amazing.
Thanks.
And being from media, I should have realized that one more. Yeah, I should have realized that one more. But yeah, I never thought about that one. But that's what Ramona ji is for you. She gives a different perspective to everything, which is so enlightening.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's good. Even if you had given me 10 or 20 points, I doubt I would have come with this one, but I should have actually. But this is a very good point that you just made. My fourth point would be, at this stage of your life, as much as I have no regrets in life, but I think somewhere maybe I miss one or two things, but 25 to 35, this is a time to balance. I'll use the word balance. Recalibrate your dreams, recalibrate your goals, and try to strike a very good balance. Because there are many things that you will be able to do in your 25 to 35, and you may not be able to do once you hit 40, 50, or 60. So this is the time, recalibrate everything and try to strike a very good balance in your life. I'll give you one or two examples just to highlight what I'm saying. Firstly, you could go back to college at 35, 40, or 50, or even at 60, but I would say the chances are going to get slimmer with every passing year after 30s or 40s. This is the time at 25 you could say, oh, I did my engineering. Should I do an MBA? Yes, a combination of engineering and MBA would be good for me. Let me go back. Think about that. Okay, what is the future? Maybe IT? Should I get a course of an year or two in IT? Yes, I could do that right now. Then you could have kids and then you're busy in your life. You may not be able to do that. This is one aspect. Balance. Where do I strike a balance? Another aspect is, as much as I loved playing cricket, but I got too much involved at work. And today, one of my things which I'm still want to do is like face a leather ball, play more cricket. So that is the time in your 25 to 30s, you're a lot more fitter. You want to do that, but you may not be able to do that. Traveling is another part that many people miss out, traveling when they get busy. So that's another part that you could think of. So balance is important. Your kids need you at that time. Say, for instance, if you had kids at the age of 25, 26, or even 30, that's the time your kids need you. But you could be focusing on other stuff. And remember one thing which I said in my last episode as well, again, the balancing part. Your parents or your grandparents, this is the time. And this will be applicable for any age. But again, once again, when I'm using the word balance, try to recalibrate, try to balance your life. And if you see, again, going back on the same question, what makes you happy? if you see, these are the 20 things that make you happy. Actually, I've figured out, I've always noted down my 90 and 19. I always try to adjust. These are my top 5 now. These are my next 5 to 10. These are my 10 to 15, and these are my 15 to 20. So all those 20 things which make you happy, recalibrate that and try to balance it out that, oh, I may not be missing out on the 14th, 10th or 6th thing. This is the right age for recalibrating and balancing that from 25 to 35.